Hey guys, Racial Legends. Welcome to the video. Glad to have you all here with me today. Sending some love and some positive vibes if you need it out there today. Today we're going to take a look at a really cool champion. It's Old Hermit Jorrg. He is an epic orc champion who's got a revive too. He's got a burn, he's got turn meter fill, and he's got increased attack. Quite a lot kind of jam-packed to make him a very serviceable, if not more above average, reviver out there, and a kind of versatile champion to support your teams as well. Before we jump into the guide here, let's do some shout outs to you guys. We have a Matthew Waldron. Can you do a video on Old Hermit Jorrg? I find him better than Gorgorab. 2-turn big attack, turn meter boost. Pro Berry. Absolutely, we can do a guide. Pro Berry FF again. Pro Berry FF. Pro Berry, this is your lucky day, man or woman. When we have Frollo, can we do a guide on Old Hermit Jorrg? He really changed my account, and I would like to know how to build her. I thought it was a dude. Francis, okay, please do an Old Hermit Jorrg guide. I don't see any content about this champion. And then Pro Berry yet again, FF. Let's go ahead and hit him. Old Hermit Jorrg. So I said Jorrg, but I think some people call him George. I don't know. I give the hard G. Jorrg. All right, so let's take a look at this dude. A dude, right? I mean, come on, man. He's got the nips showing. I mean, it's obviously a guy here. Anyway, he's doing. Look at this. He's got this face over here, the small face, and then boom, you got the big face on the back. I'll be real with you guys. Until I actually maxed him out in preparation for this video, I didn't see a lot of champions in this game. Now that I'm doing the champ guides here on this channel, I notice a lot of faces on the backsides. There's a lot of them out there. We should do like a tier list. God knows I've ranked everything else in this game. The best faces on backs and butts in all of Raid. Anyway, he looks pretty cool. I like the aesthetics on Old Hermit Jorrg. The reviews in-game, they say he's good in Faction Wars. He certainly is. I'll say it once. I'll probably say it again. But with Faction Wars 2.0 coming out, I still think he'll be good, if not, again, above average for people lacking, a Rock of Viletide, right? Another legendary reviver out there. He definitely brings a lot that's pretty unique to the table, and who knows what the trials will be as part of the Faction Wars. Maybe you could use that burn, the rest that he has in his kit as well, right? So what does he do? First of all, base stats look pretty good. There's no aura, there's no passive on this champion. So although he brings a lot, very versatile, he doesn't have a ton going on. He's not very complex to understand, right? So on his A1, we have Putrid Brazier. A Brazier attacks one enemy, has a 40% chance of placing a burn for 2 turns when booked. If you want to rely on this burn, you definitely want to get 2 things. You want to book it, A, and B, you want to get Sniper, bring it up to a 45% chance. We'll talk about Masteries in just a bit here. On the A2, Heroes of Old. So really nice ability here. It's a 3-turn cooldown when booked. Again, if you're going to use this guy, you should probably book him. Increase attack and a turn meter fill of 20%. It's a great turn meter fill, especially for an epic champion. We look at 30% turn meter fill as kind of the creme de la creme, but for an epic, 20% is very, very good. Unless you're Seeker, Seeker has the 30%, the increased attack, and the extra turn. No shots fired at Old Hermit Jorrg. I'm just saying he's not going to be the best as long as Seeker's around from the Undead Horde. Either way, it's a great way to set up your nukers, your damage dealers, whether you're in the arena or whether you're in regular PvE. You want that increased attack for your attack-based damage dealers, and you love the turn meter fill. He's got them both. On his A3 ability, Ghost Walk. I like the name. 5-turn cooldown when booked. Revives 2 random allies, 60% HP, turn meter fill of 40%, and then a perfect veil for 2 turns. You can't be targeted under the perfect veil, and you also get AoE damage mitigation by 15%. So perfect veil is amazing. I love the 60% HP as well. Turn meter 40% could be better, but could be worse as well. Could be no turn meter like a lot of revivers out there. So a lot of survivability here. You know me, I generally hate random anything in this game, right? I don't like attack random enemies. I like choosing. But when it comes to revives, I don't mind it at all, especially when we're reviving 2 allies. Odds are, hopefully, the entire team isn't wiped, and 2 is going to be enough in most situations, right? So I think his revive is actually one of the low-key better revives out there out of all the epics. The Perfect Veil, all that survivability, and the 2 allies. The only downside is it's a 5-turn cooldown, which is pretty, high at this point in the game here in 2025. Not a knock, but, there's a few 4-turn cooldown epics out there as well. So you put it all together, you got a really unique kit. Turn meter fill, increase attack, the burn, and the double revive with a lot of survivability. Let's go ahead and show you the build here. I'm going to take them into a couple areas where you might be using Old Hermit. Right now, I just want to say, his best utility in the game is going to be Faction Wars. It's going to be Spider past stage 20 where you need the burn. It's going to be maybe early stages of Ice Golem where you want that burn as well. Frost Spider, he's one of the best burners/supports for Frost Spider because he provides so much that other burners typically don't in the game, right? And that A1, even though it's a 40 or 45% chance of landing if you have him booked with a sniper, it's still an A1, so there's no cooldown. He's still going to get plenty of opportunities to land that, thus the Frost Spider will not revive, right? So those are some of my favorite areas for him. You could use him in the arena progression as a turn meter booster. He could be your second turn meter booster. He could be your only turn meter booster as well. You just want to make sure you run a speed aura with him on the team. Somebody like a Skull Crown or a He-Man or whoever you have on your squad. All right, build. I threw on 1 feral piece. If you have any feral, throw on anybody that you need accuracy on, right? We have 354 accuracy. Stat priorities on Jorrg are going to be speed, survivability, and accuracy, right? Generally in that order, but it depends on how much you're relying on that burn. We're going to use him against a higher stage Frost Spider in Doom Tower Hard. This is not going to be enough accuracy, so we're just going to run him with a Skeletor to get that increased accuracy. Thus, he can land that burn every time on that A1, every time it actually procs, right? We have double perception and a speed. I don't think you need to overthink Old Hermit Jorrg, right? He doesn't have a ton of HP. I'm not going to be throwing him in a shield or a bolster set or anything like that. He's not tanky enough for me to put in a Guardian set or anything like that. Plus, we want him alive to revive everybody else on the team. Other sets for consideration, though, could be Immortal, just kind of tankage on this guy, right? So if you have enough accuracy, throw some Immortal gear on him instead of the speed, maybe. I would definitely gravitate towards Perception, though. You could even throw a pinpoint or 2 to get that speed and that accuracy if you've got the gear. So what do we have on him today? I was looking for speed substats. I already talked about stat priorities on this guy. I got a nice trip roll in preparation before this video. I just threw it on him. We didn't even totally level it up there because I am so silver broke right now. I put HP percentage on his gauntlets and HP percentage on his chest. I really want to go in there and max out his survivability because he's our reviver. So HP and HP percentage on his chest and on his gauntlets. Speed with speed on the boots. We want speed. Primarily, we want speed, okay? He's placing that burn on the A1, so it's not predicated on a critical hit, so we don't need crit rate on Old Hermit Jorrg. On the accessories, we have HP on the banner. Don't be afraid to go accuracy. I think accuracy is going to be probably the first choice for a lot of players out there, unless you have a contingency plan like we do in this video. We have HP on the amulet. Nice amulet here. This is my 1 feral piece, but again, I'm silver broken. I don't have it totally leveled up. And then I have a random HP ring on him as well. Again, if I wanted to go in there and min-max a little bit, I'd throw a pinpoint on him on that ring. If you want to use him as an arena speed booster, he's a bit redundant with an Arbiter. Once you have Arbiter, she's got a 30% turn meter fill and the increased attack. You could definitely run them together and get the double turn meter fill. That's very powerful. But again, there is a level of redundancy since they're both revivers. They're both increased attack champions. I feel like a lot of players out there, similar to how I graduated from Seeker to Arbiter, I feel like a lot of players will graduate from Old Hermit Jorrg to an Arbiter once they get her as well. But again, you could go a little bit unorthodox and run double boosters and a slow nuker, maybe an attack percentage on their boots, right? Anyway, why was I saying all that? Oh, I was going to say supersonic gear would be very good on him in case you don't go first, but I'm not going to sit here and really legitimately ask anybody with a bunch of good supersonic gear to put it on Old Hermit Jorrg. You probably have better candidates if you're sitting with a bunch of good supersonic gear, but it is a consideration because at 4-piece, you can fill this champion's turn meter by 2% for each buff on each enemy. So that's the ultimate catch-up mechanic if you don't go first inside the arena, of course. Relics, I have nothing on him, but I do think I don't want to pay the, what's this currency called again? I don't want to pay the Star Stones, but I think the best relic for him, the best obtainable relic, is absolutely the Journal of Necrotos. It's not going to, the heals are negligible. It's not going to happen. He doesn't heal, right? But the turn meter boost is going to be boosted. So I think the Journal is going to be the best relic for him. I wouldn't necessarily waste it on Old Hermit Jorrg if you're not using him inside the arena, but it's a consideration. Survival Instinct is what I went with as a blessing. Partially fills his champion's turn meter whenever a debuff is placed, spread, or transferred onto them. We get a turn meter fill of 5%. Sure, we'll take it, right? Now, what other considerations would maybe a commanding presence? Strengthen our team's aura. Granted, he doesn't have an aura, but he doesn't have to be your aura lead to strengthen your aura, so that's a consideration as well. I'm trying to think of what other, areas I would go to for him. I think those would be pretty much it, personally, Yeah, he's not doing much. He's not, healing or anything like that. Let's see really quickly what hellhades.com gives him in terms of an overall champion grade, a 3.5 out of 5, and then area rankings. They say you can use him in Clan Boss. We didn't mention that, but old school Demon Lord Clan Boss. He can be your increased attack champion, your turn meter booster, your reviver. We know the drill by this point, right? Doom Tower, wave content, can help you with the waves, keep your team alive, and if they die, pick them right back up. You've got Spider, which we mentioned. Spider hard mode, they really take those ratings quite a bit down. You can get by with him, but he's probably not going to be your main burner, right, in that situation. Ice Golem normal, they give him a 4 out of 5. Frost Spider, a 4.5. Again, I think that's one of his best areas in the game. Griffin, they give him a 4 out of 5. Eternal Dragon, a 4 out of 5. Arena, a 4 out of 5. He has a 4 multiplier on his A1, but we're not building him for damage. His damage, and it can be substantial, it can be significant in burn situations. He could be your DPS lead in some situations, just depends, but it's all coming from the burn and maybe War Master if you have it on him. Speaking of War Master, let's go ahead and do the Masteries. Oh, what do they recommend? They recommend Commanding Presence. We did mention that to strengthen your aura as a blessing on this champion. Let's do the Masteries together, guys. I'm not going to lie, because I'm not going to use Old Hermit Jorrg on my account. It is painful to pay the gems, but I'm going to do it because I love you guys. All right, we're going to get all the scrolls here. The 8 hundo. We're going to go crit rate, crit damage, and we're just going to go right down the left-hand side and end with War Master. Let me move out of the way here. And then we're going to go with the accuracy, right? Accuracy, and more accuracy. He does have that buff, so we're going to go and pick up Rapid Response, Turn Meter Fill whenever a buff is removed, cast by this champion. You could also go with Arcane Celerity, but there's a lot more... There's a lot more buffs falling off than there are debuffs, obviously, from his kit. Lore of Steel will benefit us greatly in this build. We have 3 basic sets on him: Speed, Perception, Perception. We're going to go with Master Hexer to extend the duration of that burn, Sniper to extend or increase the land rate of that burn. We're going to go with Cycle of Magic to get back to that turn meter fill again, even faster. It's only 5%, but it can be significant, right? And then we're going to go with Exalt in Death. Heals this champion by 10% of max HP the first time an enemy is killed in each round. Hey, if there's one champion we don't want dying on our team, it's going to be our Reviver. So we'll pick that up as kind of a miscellaneous last choice here. All right, guys, that is the total build. We talked a little bit about relics, even though we're not going to run him in one. You have to make those decisions, right? Who do you want to put those relics on? Because let me tell you, if you haven't experienced it yet, to remove some of these relics, or gemstones for that matter, it can get pricey. 320, I have 1 mythical relic. 640, that's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks of Chimera just to remove it? Yikes. So you don't want to be throwing relics on champions just willy-nilly, especially the higher the rarity goes for gemstones as well. Anyway, guys, let's jump into the arena. Again, not going to see a ton of him in, high arena. This is probably too high for Old Hermit Jorrg, to be fair. But let's see what we can do here. Is there any team that I think I can beat in a speed race? I have Fabian at 360 speed. Let me make sure I'm not lying there. 297, a very slow Fabian. Ugh. And then we had Jorrg. What was his total speed at? 308. Woo! We do have Supersonic on Fabian, though. And then I promise this will probably be the last video I do, co-starring Sir Artemage. But ever since I did that video on him earlier this month on the YouTube channel, I'm really in love with this champion. He smacks. He's going to be our nuker, and Madame Sarah's going to set everything up for us. Hopefully we can beat out this Arbiter here. And we do. Oh, it's a miracle. I didn't think we were going to there. Increase attack, setting up our nuker, a.k.a. Sir Artie. And then the nice, juicy turn meter boost as well. We're going to go from him to Jorrg. And then we're going to pass the proverbial baton to our control champion. It could be an Armand's. It could be anybody. We're going to lock out. And now we're going to set the table for our nuker. The final thing, we have 2 buff removers just to give us a double shot at removing Stone Skin. Madame Sarah's going to come in there, and she's going to decrease defense. Got a counterattack. Got a provoke. Got a nuke coming in. Things aren't looking that great. But Artie's up. Artie's up. Boom! Not too bad. Not too bad. And we have a locked out Arbiter, so we're good to go. So that is exactly how we're going to be using him in the arena, right? As an early turn meter booster and a setup for our nukers. If things went badly, let's do another team here. Can we get lucky and get another speed win? Looking at these teams, I'm not so sure. More gems? You guys are making me broke. You guys are making me broke. Let's see if we can go against this team here, right? All right. Okay, so we go first, the Supersonic procs because of those buffs from Necroet the Great. So we get to go in and at least put their skills on cooldown. Now we're going to go ahead and do another turn meter boost from Old Hermit Jorrg. Going to go in there. We still, even with a couple shots, did not remove this stupid Stone Skin from Hefrak. So we're going to have to deal with him. I don't know. Probably going to wipe. Let's see. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. Boom, boom. Yep. So we wiped out. But you guys get the gist. That's what we're doing inside the arena with this guy. He's a speed booster, right? I'm not going to take you all around the entire game with him. I think his kit is fairly self-explanatory. But we will do some Frostbiter. Let's do level 70 on hard. I have this team set up. I already mentioned why I'm using Skeletor. Really 2 reasons. Number 1 is the aura. 60 accuracy, and number 2 is the increased accuracy that he brings to the table as well. And then we have 2 of my favorite epic nukers, Magnar, who's not going to benefit from the increased attack, and Sir Artemage, who is going to benefit. And then we have Reliquary Tender to be there, be our healer, right? Let's just watch Artie. Let's watch Artie a little. Oh, look at Artie, man. He smacks. This dude smacks. He really does, man. I was just so shocked because, some of these guys, Magnar, Dirindil, there's a lot of nukers that I talk about a lot, that I feature a lot here. Pan the Bowhorn, right, in terms of epic nukers. Genbo, Nagorio, right? There's a few of them. Flyja. But Sir Artemage, he just went totally under my radar, right? I had no idea that he hit that hard. No idea. And it turns out he's yet another, we mentioned Pan and Dirindil, another Force Affinity epic damage dealer who really impressed the hell out of me. All right, guys. Tormund down. I'm not going to lie. This might take a while, so I'm probably going to cut. Here, but let's just watch to see if it lands. Of course, the buff removed right away, right? Way to go. He's probably going to go for the Spiderlings. No, hey, look at that. Even without the increased accuracy, he was able to land the HP burn. Not bad. What does he have? 430 accuracy right now, I would say, when you factor in the aura and the masteries that we added to him. So not bad. I mean, that's actually really solid there. So we land the burn right away. We get the turn extension, Master Hexer, right before the spider took the turn as well. So things are going swimmingly here. And the most important thing is it's not going to be a speed run by any imagination. But it will be a consistent run, right? And that's what we want in this game, consistency. Sure, it might not matter in Doom Tower because, frankly, you're not using any energy, one of the rare areas in this game that you're not. But let's see how he does at the end of this run. I'll come back to you guys in a few minutes. And, we'll give our final thoughts here on this champion. All right, guys, so a minute later, here we go. Frostbiter down. No big deal. Hey, Jorrg puts out 8 million damage. Jorrg is our DPS lead with those burn, baby, burns on the A1. Hey, all in all, a really, really cool champion. A great addition to the game still to this day. Hopefully you enjoyed the guide, guys. Really solid. I think you should invest in him, especially if you need, all the things that we talked about in this video. Keep the champion guide requests coming in the comments below. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.